These are the men and women of Beaver Valley, the bravest of the brave. They fought fearlessly for their country, their city, their community, and for the ideals we share as Americans. They served proudly in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Here now are their stories, their own experiences in their own words, the words of the heroes of Beaver Valley. Born in 1919 in South Carolina, 98-year-old James Sims was the son of a sharecropper and worked with his father on the farm.
Back in those days, it was pretty hard for a black kid to be born in the South. I was very limited with my education because the school bus passed my door, but I couldn't ride it.
Sims and his family experienced discrimination and witnessed much of the violence, including lynchings, that was taking place in the Jim Crow South.
My mom hid me because she didn't want me to see the lynching. And my mom told me something. She said, I know you don't like the segregation laws, but don't buck them. She said, obey these laws. She said, because I didn't raise a child to be slain like you see what they're doing to this young black boy. And if you obey the law, one of these days, maybe, if you live long enough, you'll be able to go someplace, and maybe you will be free. And so I always thought of that.
At the age of 21, Sims went looking for a new job and was hired at a nearby military camp that was being built, Camp Croft. Upon seeing other men in uniform, he decided to join the Army.
I remember having a parade in town. I was the only black kid in the parade. I was on the back of it, but they was cheering because it was a bunch of white kids within the parade, and everybody was cheering them. I was on the back of the parade. But I didn't feel left out because I had a desire that I wanted to fill up my mother's dream and be somebody. But when I arrived in Columbia, South Carolina, they had 3 doctors sitting at the table. One looked at the other doctor, and they said, we don't know why we should take him or not. He looks good, but he on a nurse. Then the other doctor said, well, suppose we take him in the Army. Could he carry 300 pounds? Other doctor said, well, yes. But there's something about him that makes me feel that he wants to go to the Army. He looked at me again, the other doctor looked at me. He said, well, I think if he had the right type of food, he could grow into maybe being a strong person. So there's something about him that I see.
Sims was officially accepted into the Army in July 1941. He took his basic training at Camp Lee, Virginia, before being sent to Illinois. Previously, Sims had never left his home state of South Carolina. He found the new atmosphere of Illinois freeing.
They sent me to Illinois, where I could ride the bus, sit at the table with a white person. And I felt pretty good. And then I was attached to a white company. And my occupation was to drive. So they placed me in a motor pool.
Sims drove many officers, including a captain from Georgia.
And him and his wife was living there in one of the houses there. They had a little dog. Whenever I didn't want to do extra chores around the camp, I would go over and get her dog. And I would walk the dog. She was glad of that. She always liked to see me come in the door. She always would bake a little cake or something or other, you know. How you doing, James? You know.
1941, a date which
When the United States became involved in World War II, Sims was sent to Georgia.
Walking guard, you had to have a stick because a black man wasn't allowed to have a gun in Georgia. And it was kind of odd now because I had been into the northern state. I had a little bit of more or what it was like now to be a grown man and to be in a northern state.
Sims was again sent to Camp Lee in Virginia, where he got a weekend pass to visit friends in Charlottesville. On his way there, he again experienced discrimination.
I bought 2 hamburgers. The man took my money, everything. I took one out to eat. He told me I couldn't eat it in there. I threw it at him. I got angry. I forgot about what my mom told me this time. And I threw the hamburger at him. Because now I got a uniform on. I've been around a little bit. And I knew what it was kind of like. So I got bitter. But then, one of the boys drug me out. I'm glad they did.
After being sent to Camp Schenck in New York, Sims and the rest of the 4,254th Quartermaster Truck Company were sent to England to prepare for the invasion of Normandy. Soldiers in the trucking company waterproofed their vehicles so they could drive them off the ships into the water and reach the beach.
The sky was lit up. Telling this story, sometimes I cry a lot because it was just like the world coming to an end. Paratroopers dropping out of air, dropping into the English Channel. We had all our equipment, trucks, we had to waterproof them because the ship couldn't only go over so far, then we had to drive them under the water. That took nerves. We went into France. First, we had to fight to get there. Now, being in a truck company, I was not with the ground crew infantry, but I was attached to them. And every place that they went, they had to have wheels. And I happened to be a truck driver. I was in just as much danger as if they was. But I was going and coming.
One night while coming back from the front lines, Sims and a fellow soldier almost lost their lives. Sims was a passenger in the car when it went over an embankment into the freezing Rhine River.
He lost control of the truck. I couldn't swim, but he could.
Fortunately, there was always a vehicle following the truck. Codes were given out every few minutes so that they could be used to identify individuals as allies. Before Sims and the other soldier went over the embankment, the most recent code had just been given.
When they hollered out the code number, the lieutenant hollered back. He said, "Shoot if you got a gun." He took the gun, this pistol, shot in the air. That's how we were warned. And so one of the guys told me afterwards, he said, I told the guy to turn the machine gun on you because we thought it was German was playing a trick on us. And he said, my buddy told me, he said, well, no, we'll wait and try. We'll wait for a second. Then we'll turn the gun on them.
The other soldier managed to swim to the shore and find a rope that assisted Sims in getting to the shore as well. Sims was taken to a barn-like building where he was treated by a medic who didn't say a word to Sims all night. Before Sims left, however, the medic gave him some parting thoughts.
He said, soldier, he said, I don't know for sure why you're going to make it or not. He said, the war is pretty hot. He said, but I don't want you to thank me. He said, what I want you to do for me is this, and make it out of this war. And if you find anybody that you can help, or any life that you can save, or do anything to help anybody, if you do it, you'll be helping me.
Sims advanced with the rest of the army into Germany, where he was tasked with guarding a German prisoner.
And he was my age, a young fellow, and I was guarding him. And I used to have to take food into the camp. He looked at me one day, and he said, do you ever arm wrestle? I said, nah, maybe. He said, I bet I can whoop you. That's what he said, this young person. I said, no, you can't whoop me. I said, I can take care of you, arm wrestling. And so me and him saw a little opportunity once, and so we decided, now I'm being dumb, now I laid my gun down to arm wrestle with the prison. And so we arm wrestled, The first time he won, he laughed. Second time I won, I laughed. I see that in my dream a lot now at nights. He was a German prison, and when I was in South Carolina, I was a prisoner of my own country. But me and him, that far apart, saw something to laugh about.
Overall, Sim served in Normandy, northern France, the Ardennes, the Rhineland, and Central Europe. He was honorably discharged November 1945 with 5 Bronze Stars. He worked for 36 years at J&L Steel. Currently, he lives in Ambridge and plans to write a book about his life.